FORA.tv. The world is thinking.
I think that the common view in the Arab world is that we do not need another war in the region. So but first of all, it's very difficult to speak about a common united Arab position, towards Iran and towards the rhetoric. But if I might speak in terms of the popular feeling, popular attitude, in a number of major Arab countries, I don't think that regardless of what Mr. Najad says, and particularly after what happened in Iraq, that there is too much stomach for any further escalation towards Iran. But at the same time, I'd like to go to my earlier point that apparently points of views towards Iran differ among Arab countries depending how close they are to Iran, how far they are from Iran. But my sense, even as a reporter, that when I sit and talk to some Arab Gulf officials, maybe their sense of what they consider to be the Iranian security threat is much bigger, say, than in what it is in Egypt or in Algeria or in Palestine, for example. So it's not a united position. Although even in the Arab Gulf countries, the Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Qatar, Bahrain, Oman, I don't think even that there is the official public position, and I think that any other Arab Gulf leader will have to say that they are against the war, against any possible military escalation against Iran. But behind closed doors, and that's one thing that the US officials always tell us, is that don't believe what you hear in public. We hear different things, but behind closed doors, I assume that you would get some expressions of serious fear in the Gulf region about the intentions of Iran, about what Iran wants to do. And of course, you all know in terms of background, all the Gulf countries did support to a great extent Iraq in its war against Iran over this perspective of sense of fear of the Iranian influence in the region. And that was actually the same reason why previous US administrations supported Iraq, Saddam Hussein at that time, and the famous Rumsfeld-Saddam picture was a good indication of that. At one stage also fearing the Iranian security threat. So, and also behind closed doors, when we get background briefings by Gulf officials, and I remember one with one of the smaller Gulf countries, and allow me not to mention the name because he was speaking off the record, and he basically said that they go straight to the to the US administration and say, yes, Iran is the serious threat for us. It's even a bigger threat than we can see. Israel is a threat to us. And they want some serious action by the United States. And I just want to recall, I think, what Trita was saying about Iranian President Ahmadinejad being received in the GCC meeting in Doha. And I just recall that before the Iraq war, just maybe 3 weeks before the King of Saudi Arabia, the President Amir Abdullah, King Abdullah of Saudi Arabia, he also met with Izzat Duri of Iraq, the former vice president at that time, and they had a very famous hug. And, only 3 weeks before the war. And at that time, we thought that maybe that's an indication that, if the Saudi king is hugging Izzat Duri, who's now the top wanted person in Iraq, this might mean no war, but the war happened at the end. And I guess that the nature, one lesson we've learned from the Iraq war is that despite what the Arab countries might say officially, at the end of the day, if the United States decides to go to war, say against Iraq or against Iran, there is really not much that the rest of the Arab countries could do in that respect.